getting the bomb like up like really fast now for that. That will be the ticket to a gold. Oh my fucking god. Never mind. Fucking not gonna save. Fuck you! I think my brain's a little bit tired because I really blasted that video over the past few days and finally done with, like, I finished the tabs like right before starting to stream, and I think I'm just mentally fatigued today. You gotta be on your game if you want to be a speed runner. Just give your brain a wash. How do you brainwash? How do you wash a brain? Join a cult? I know that there are streamers that can brainwash their community, but do you think there are communities that can brainwash the streamer? Think it could go the other way? 99.3, baby! Depends if that's a donation. Yeah, donate $1.01 to brainwash me. Oh, I thought of a good, annoying fucking donation incentive from, the Pinocchio movie when Pinocchio runs away and goes, skitty, 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 skitty. How many subs to wash brain? 1. 1 sub equals 1 brainwash. That's just the chat gaslighting the streamer. Gaslight gets fucking thrown around too much. Like, gaslighting specifically refers to somebody who is making the opposite person question their own perception of a situation. I think people just say like, oh, you're gaslighting me, if it's like, if you're just lying to somebody or something. I think people use gaslighting too much. It's like literally. People say literally something when it's not true, almost like an exaggeration. But I definitely think like online there's kind of an overuse of, I think that's the trend right now, is to overuse the term gaslighting. It's been cringe before. Like, cringe is supposed to be like a verb, but we use it as an adjective. Apparently, yeah. Well, like, I feel like apparently is usually used correctly. I don't think people like misuse the word apparently. Really overused since Among Us. Yeah. Well, like, I think that it's because like in Among Us you can gaslight somebody. That can be a tactic. But I feel like it's very rare that it's actually gaslighting. Fooling somebody isn't necessarily gaslighting. In like the terms of Among Us, if you vented somewhere to like then end up like you killed somebody, you vent somewhere and then, oh, I was doing the lights. Like, you just lied. You'll be like, you saw me here, trying to convince them. That's not really gaslighting. Gaslighting is like, how do you know what you saw? How can you be sure you saw me kill somebody? Like, did you see a name or something? If you're not sure about it, then why are you accusing me? That's a gaslight. Because like you're essentially like making them think like, oh wait, maybe I'm crazy. If it's kind of like a tactic to make the other person feel crazy, like feel like their perception isn't true. Why is it gaslight though? It comes from I think like a book or something called Gaslighting, Gaslighter, something like that. But yeah, I definitely think like you can oh wait, why am I pulling a bomb out? You can gaslight and I'm just gonna murder this man, fuck it. And I think because you can, it's been kind of generalized. Am I the crazy? Yeah, like if the intent, well, it doesn't even have to be the intention. I think people gaslight each other all the time and don't even realize it, that how actually manipulative and fucked up it is that they'll do it. I think a lot of kids gaslight their parents. A really common gaslighting tactic that kids will do to parents that I don't think kids realize is, oh, it's not such a big deal. Have you ever said that? Like, I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this. It's not a big deal. Because what that's essentially doing is saying that, like, your perception of what's important isn't actually important. You can't do that, dragon. Fuck. If you don't like squash and you tell somebody they're crazy if they eat squash, that is gaslighting. I think there's some extra steps there. I'm a gaslighter. Completely ignores another person's perspective on a situation by denying how they see it. And the idea is not to prove your point, it's to prove to the other person that they can't make a point in the first place. That's what that kind of tactic does. It's almost just like circumnavigating an argument by making, instead of like trying to prove, or it takes away the possibility of coming to a agreement. Trying to make the other person feel like they're crazy, like their perception of reality is not true. So therefore they can't be a reliable party in whatever disagreement you're having. That's what gaslighting is. It's a little, in my head I understand it, it's difficult to explain. But I think that that's why it's probably become like so common. People just use it based on the context they hear it and their understanding of the context. I think that happens with a lot of kids and adults. Oh yeah, easily. Say like somebody in your family dies and you don't like cry about it. Very common. Sometimes people who aren't like a close relative or somebody, and then like they can kind of more assume the role of supporter, you know? Oh, Elegy. Thank you so much. We're talking about the actual definition of gaslighting. It's like a filibuster if they can't reach an agreement. So that's like a different thing. That's almost like making facts they know to be truths to be warped into doubt and ultimately changed. No, like, not really. Like a filibuster is more of a battle of attrition. Essentially, kind of like you might talk in circles. You might kind of just like reinvent the wheel a lot. And the idea is to make the other person so fucking tired that they just can't fight anymore, that they just can't argue, and it's like a tactic. It's, I guess, like a fallacy in a weird way. Gaslighting more tries to disprove the credibility of the other person for that person. You're not even presenting it to other people like, oh, this person's not credible because of this. You're trying to convince somebody that they are not credible. That's kind of the tactic, because if you do that, then you win by default. The disagreement or argument by just default is meant to make a person doubt themselves. Hey, you were being mean to me. No, I wasn't. You're just being. Yes, that's another one that's really common. You're just being sensitive, or you're too sensitive. Super gaslighty comment. It's not a big deal. Like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? That's a gaslight. I'm not the imposter. That's not gaslighting. You're lying. That's it. Ad hominem fallacy, where you just relentlessly attack a person rationally. I'm not too savvy on the like specific, because there's like a big list of like logical fallacies, and I know the basic ones like straw man and shit like that. But for the most part, like I kind of just think of them like filibustering. You know, you're being silly, you're sensitive, you're only interpreting. Yeah, and like it has to be in a way that is aimed to convince the person that they are that thing that you are accusing them of doing, rather than like trying to convince everybody else around you, right? That's kind of shitty, but that's not really gaslighting if you're just like, dude, look at this guy. Like, he's fucking saying this shit. Like if somebody is like disproving somebody's credibility, like online, they're not gaslighting them. It's a completely different thing. But if you're trying to convince to the person that they're fucking crazy, then you are gaslighting them. It's more specific than just like any kind of social manipulation. Because if like somebody is trying to manipulate somebody in any way, I think people say like, you're just gaslighting me. But you know what? You can choose to use the term however you want. It's fine. Not your mom, just your dad. I think it's really easy for people to kind of like wield themselves with the knowledge of logical fallacies. If they're used against them, they can kind of know what the counter move is. I think a lot of the time it more comes down to just like, it's good to be aware of them so that you can kind of judge whether or not a situation is toxic. Oh, gold, baby! Oh my god, I threw it the wrong fucking way. Get over here. Fuck you! What about fuck you? Huh? You think about that? You think about fucking you? You fucking penis. You should die. You should die right now. You fucking bitch. You fucking bitch! That's it.
New subscribed.
Look at this new fucking
member on Twitch.
run of Bomberman 64 that fucking blows cock.